Hi, my name's Taylor. I'm an NFL cheerleader for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I just wrapped up my third season with the team. With auditions coming up, I thought it'd be a perfect time to put out this video and share tips, tricks, common questions I get asked, all the things about being an NFL cheerleader to help you out if you're thinking about auditioning for the Bengals this year or for any cheer team in general. Let's first start talking about the audition process. The audition process is so super fun, and that's where you start your journey to becoming an NFL cheerleader. So, first things first is prep classes. Before I get into the rest of this video, just know that every NFL cheer team is different. So I'm telling you about the Bengals process. If you are looking for a certain team, this could be helpful, but it might be very different than their process. They all have similarities in a way, but they are all very different. Let's talk about prep classes first. That's where I personally started my audition journey to being an NFL cheerleader, and that's where I would recommend others start their process as well. A prep class is something that's hosted by the Bengals Cheerleading organization in hopes to prepare you for auditions. So they are completely optional and they are not a judged audition process. There are usually 5 prep classes and 1 master class. The prep classes are usually on Tuesdays, and those are usually March and April timeframe. And then a prep class is somewhere in between there, between March and April on a Saturday. That's usually when it is. So take this video with a grain of salt, but over the last 3 years, that's how it has been with my process. I'm gonna take you step by step, everything that you do to get involved in a prep class. So those dates are usually posted on the Bengals website. So there's the Bengals website, the Cheerleaders tab, and then there's going to be an auditions tab on there with all of the dates. They're usually under like the frequently asked questions, or maybe they're in a paragraph form and you just have to read them and find them. We'll also post them on the Bengals Cheerleading social media pages most likely. Check stories, check posts, make sure you're following us there so you can see those updates. But that is first what you need to do is find out when the actual dates are. And then from there, there's usually a jot form or some sort of Google sheet that you can sign up for the prep class. And there is a fee with every prep class. It's usually about $25 per class. And then if you buy the complete package deal of all 6 classes, including that master class, there's usually some sort of discount. Maybe it's like $5 off, but look out for that too. If you do plan to come to every class, you can take advantage of that discount. And the prep classes are usually at night around 6:30, that time frame. So if you have a job from 9 to 5, you have that time to come to the audition process afterwards. So it's usually 2 hours, I would say, like 6:30 to 8:30 or 6 to 8 or somewhere in that time frame. And what you'll do when you'll get there, you'll get an email from our coach of all the details for parking, anything that's important. So you'll park, you'll walk in, the doors are usually open an hour in advance. I would recommend, you don't have to get there an hour early, but do not be running in there on time. On time is late. So be there, I would say at least, 15 to 30 minutes earlier. If not, get there an hour early. You never know with traffic, and it's just early is better in Bengal land. So always be early. So the doors open about an hour early. Once you check in at the desk, the coaches will be there and they'll usually give you like a name tag. It'll be sticky. Bring like a paper clip to clip that to your outfit because they don't always stick the best and the name tags will be everywhere. So maybe they'll change that, but they're usually sticky name tags. I would bring a little paper clip. Not a paper clip, safety pin, and safety pin that in your outfit so it stays. After you've parked, you've checked in, you've done all of those things, a veteran on the team will usually walk you back to the room that we're doing the prep class in, and usually it's either on the field sometimes it's been in like the Club West area on the carpet, and other times it's been in our gym area, which has a large turf section, which 9 times out of 10 is where we most likely will be hosting this at. So you'll go in there and you have the opportunity to stretch beforehand, mingle, put your stuff down, all the things. Once it's officially time to start the prep class is when our coaches will come in, they'll introduce themselves, they'll introduce who's teaching the prep class. Sometimes it's veterans who are on the team, other times it's guest choreographers who have came in. It's a little mix of both throughout the audition process, so it's fun to try out all of the different styles that we do as Bengals. We focus on jazz and hip hop. Before we start dancing, we'll do a group stretch together. We'll do an across the floor combination. We usually do about 2 or 3 across the floor combinations, and then we'll learn a dance combination together. We learn them relatively quickly, and that's very true to how we do practices the entire year. So prep classes are very similar to our actual practice. So we will be learning choreography really quickly and then performing it really quickly in several groups, which is very common to how our process is all year round. So catching on to choreography quick is super important, and prep classes give you that opportunity to start gathering choreography quicker. It's also really great if you could take local dance classes that you know of that could even prepare you before you take a prep class. So that's basically the rundown of a prep class. You do have to pay for it. There's about 5 to 6 of them before the audition season, and it's a great place to catch on to choreography quick, meet other people who are trying out, meet the coaches, familiarize yourself with where we practice, and just kind of get a sense for our style. It's 2 hours. It's not a stressful place, so don't come in feeling stressed and anxious that you're getting judged. You're not. It's just a place to get prepared. I personally love prep classes because you get to meet other people who are also auditioning, and it makes you not feel alone. You get to meet like-minded people, and you also get to meet the coaches, and that's an opportunity to introduce yourself. Now let's get into what we wear to prep classes and auditions. Starting with prep classes, you'll want to wear the Divas brand tights. The Divas brand tights are just the best. They have the best color complexion. When I first auditioned, I went to Meijer and got tights, and they had like the box at the top of my leg. They were not the right color. They were just like much more pale than everybody else, and I felt out of place. So I asked one of the veterans, I was like, why are your tights so tan? Like, why do they look so good? And they're like, oh, they're the Divas tights. And so I ordered the Divas tights. I was like, I'm not making that mistake. They're like $5 to $6 a pair, and well worth the investment. So buy several pairs if you think you're gonna go to all the prep classes and all the auditions. It's just nice to have them. And I'm in the shade Suntan. If you are darker complected, get the color Mocha, but those are the 2 that we use. You can either do footed or the footless. The footed are the best just because you're not actually going to want that like little piece of your ankle showing. You're gonna want to have that like all the way tucked in. So I would recommend the footed ones. The next thing I'm about to say is definitely a difference between the Bengals and other NFL cheer teams. So for the Bengals, we do not wear leggings to any of our prep classes, any of our practices, or any of our auditions. So other NFL cheer teams, I've definitely seen videos, they 100% wear leggings. We always wear our tights. So wear tights, spandex, and a sports bra. Don't wear a tank top. It's very important that we look how we're going to look at practices or in our uniform. So we wear a sports bra, spandex shorts, and tights, and then a pair of shoes. So I would recommend gym shoes, like just some Nike, some Adidas, whatever brand of gym shoes you prefer and can dance confidently in. That's what I would do. We don't do jazz shoes. We don't do like Turner Pauls. Like, we don't wear those. I know other teams wear jazz shoes or shoes like that, or sneakers. We are just like your classic gym tennis shoe. White or black is sufficient. Some people throw in an orange, but white or black is perfect. It doesn't have to be white. It doesn't have to be black. Just like one of the 2. Our team shoes that we do wear are black. A lot of girls on the team like to wear the white to practice though. So gym shoes, not jazz shoes. Tights, not leggings. Those are big key differences between the Bengals and other teams. As far as the outfit goes, do you have to put sparkles on it? You can. You don't have to. You can, you don't have to. So my first year on prep classes, I did not wear anything blingy. I wore just basic black shorts and like a colored sports bra. Sometimes I would wear a matching set like green and green, but you don't have to wear Bengals colors to prep classes. You don't have to bling them out. You can just wear a basic sports outfit set. whatever makes you feel confident. But make sure it's not leggings. I mean, you can wear leggings if you want. It's just not what we wear. It's not what they recommend. I would recommend wearing the tights. So that's what I'd recommend. I do have some old sports bras that I just like didn't want anymore that I've stoned. So I sometimes will wear stoned sports bras, but it's not a requirement to prep classes. Whatever makes you feel confident. If stoning all your sports bras makes you feel confident, go ahead. There will be girls who have everything stoned every single prep class, and there'll be a vast majority that don't have anything stoned during prep classes. So don't feel obligated to go one way or the other, whatever makes you feel the most confident. I'd say I do 50-50. Some classes I have rhinestones on my outfit, some classes I don't. Now let's talk about outfits for auditions though. Auditions outfits are different than prep classes. So auditions processes are mandatory. You have to go if you want to be on the team. You have to audition. Prep classes, optional. Place to prepare. Auditions, place to audition. So the auditions outfits are different from round 1 to round 3. So there's the first round, which is the preliminary round. What I would recommend wearing is something that's a little bit more elevated than what you wore to the prep class. Same thing, tights, spandex, and a sports bra. And I personally would add a little rhinestone color to it. You do not have to wear our team colors. I personally wore black my first year, but you could wear pink, you could wear green, you could wear orange, you could wear red, you could wear any color you want. It does not have to be crazy, but I would 100% recommend, investing in yourself in that first audition round and doing something subtle. The second round is also the same as the first round. You do not have to wear Bengals colors. You can wear any color that you want. However, a lot of girls, especially veterans, are wearing Bengals in this round. So I don't want you to feel left out. A lot of girls do wear the Bengals colors during this round, but you don't have to. You could wear red. And again, make sure you're checking that this information is right because it could change from year to year on when this video was created. And then the last round, same thing, tights, shorts, bra, and you want to wear Bengals colors in this round. That's actually mandatory that you're wearing black, white, or orange, or a mix of both, or a mix of all of them. My first year I wore all black. My second year I wore all black. And my third year of auditions I did black and orange. But some people do all white, some people do all orange. Orange is a harder one to match and find the colors. You can custom make your outfit. I personally always custom made mine. I'll order the sports bra and the shorts and rhinestone them myself. I'll print off some Bengals logos on my Cricut. I will order some patches to iron on. There's so many different options that you can use. You can also hire somebody to make your audition outfit. There's companies like Dallas Wear. You can just Google NFL cheer audition outfits, find stuff on Etsy. There's all kinds of options. I just personally always made them because I'm very creative. Let's talk about the preliminary round now. So now I'm gonna go into all of the different rounds of auditions and what to expect when you go there. And again, I'm just going to be explaining my process through it. It could be very different now. So my first year, the preliminary round was in 2022. It was kind of coming off of COVID, and it was still a video tryout round. That has not been the case the last 2 years. It has been an in-person round. So my first year, it was a video round, so it's a little bit different than what it is now. But same concept. It's usually on the weekend, like a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's in the morning usually. And during that time, you learn the dance really quickly. It's probably about 4-8 counts. There's a lot of tricks in it, leaps, turns, and choreography, but I want to say it's about 4-8 counts long. It's nothing crazy long to remember, so that's great. You don't have to worry about forgetting the entire dance. It should be relatively simple to grasp onto a 4-8 count dance, especially coming off prep classes. Those ones were an entire 1 minute long song. You're cutting that in half or maybe even a quarter. But you'll learn the dance and then you'll start performing in groups of 2. You don't get to pick your partner. It's usually based on your number that you have. You'll get a number. It won't be your name anymore. Auditions process starts with numbers. So you're no longer Taylor. You're number 2. Or number 3, or number 4. And that's how they identify you, is by your number. Obviously your name is linked to it, but you'll have your number that usually does come with a safety pin on those rounds. So you'll perform those in groups of 2 in front of the coaches and maybe a couple other people who are there, but it's usually the coaches for the first 2 rounds. And the preliminary round does not include veterans who are already on the team. If you're a veteran who's already on the team from the previous season, you do not have to do the preliminary round. You automatically move on to the second round. So the preliminary round is anybody who was not on the team this previous season. So there's 2 different ways they've done it that I've heard. And this is kind of a big question mark of how this process goes, because it's very different from my first year, which was a video tryout. But from what I've heard, the past 2 seasons, one time they had them in the separate room, not watching everybody else perform. And then the other time you were sitting in basically like a U shape, and then you performed in the middle and the coaches were like right here at a table, and like everybody was just in a U shape around them, like watching. So there's 2 different options where maybe everybody could be watching you audition who's also auditioning, or maybe they're in a room. There's been 2 ways. So that's the possibilities, but you're basically in that same room that you did the prep classes in the turf area. At least normally that's how it is. You're in the turf area and you are performing to the coaches, and you might have people watching you that are auditioning and you might not. And then the semifinal round is basically very similar to the preliminary round. So once you've done the preliminary round, you can go into the second round feeling very confidently if you are chosen. So after the preliminary round, they will send an email saying congratulations, you made it, or congratulations, you did not make it to the next round, and you'll get an email to find out if you made it to the next round. So once you've got your email saying you've made it to the next round, you will be in the semifinal round, which is very similar to the preliminary round. You'll learn a dance. This one usually has a kick line, usually has splits, a turn, tricks, choreography, all the things. So very similar, not a super long dance, maybe 4 to 6, 8 counts. And same idea, they could be in the room watching you, or they could be in a U shape around you. I've experienced it both ways, but either way, there is going to be a table with the coaches at it watching you. And those are different dances between preliminary and semifinal round. You're not learning the same dance. And it's not the same dances from prep classes either. So you'll do prep classes are places where you can learn dance. Preliminary, you'll learn a dance. Semifinals, you'll learn a dance. And then if you make it past semifinals, you'll go into finals. And some people call it semifinals, some people call it semifinals. I call it semi. So semi, whatever you call it. The finals round is the home stretch to the end of the process. So soak up every moment and enjoy it, because you only auditioned for an NFL cheer time for the first time once in your life. So enjoy every moment that you have. The first week after the semifinals round, same thing, you get an email like, congratulations, you've moved on. They'll provide you with all the dates and things that you need to prepare for. So after semifinals, you will go through an interview process. And I can't remember if semifinals go through the interview process or if it's just finalists. I believe it's just finalists, so don't quote me on that. But you'll go through an interview process with the coaches. This is just like a job interview. So you'll want to dress professionally, just like you would if you were going to go get a corporate high-level job. Our dancing is important, but how we speak to people and our professionalism is just as important, because we're representing the Bengals organization, not just a dance team. The interviews are usually hosted at the stadium. My round, it was again coming off of COVID, so it was virtual, but now they're in person, so I can't speak for how they are in person. They are relatively quick. You usually have 15 to 30 minute time frames to complete the interview, and there's going to be you and the next person and the next person. So it's just everybody's coming in on the same day, and these actually can start earlier in the day, like 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock time frame. So if you are working 9 to 5 on an interview day, you may have to be flexible with where your time slot lands for an interview. The first week after semifinals is when you have that interview with the coaches. You also are going through the process of learning our opening number. Our opening number is not judged, but our finals round is completely open to the public. So we have an opening number that kicks off the audition process and just like gets the crowd pumped, gets everybody excited. And every person who is auditioning is in the opening number. It'll start with a small group and then another group and then another group. So there's probably like 6 groups of different people who come out and have their little time to shine on the stage, learning pieces of choreography. And the fun part about this choreography is usually it's from those prep classes. So bonus points if you went to the prep classes and know the choreography, you can come to these opening numbers feeling pretty confident because you already know those dances. And it's not the whole dance, it's just like a little piece of it, and it could change. It could just be like, 1/8 count from that dance and something different. But the reason is we kind of want to recycle that choreography and make it easier on you, because the opening number is supposed to be fun and not something that you're going to be stressing about. It's like super fun, high energy, just making everybody excited that we're about to go through the audition process. Usually we have 2 days that are dedicated to the opening number. The first day is learning the choreography, blocking it out, making sure it fits well, and this is all at the stadium that we're doing this. And then the next practice, we should know it pretty perfect. Like, we need to come to the auditions round knowing it perfectly. And the coaches will put you in a formation. Do not get in your head about where you're at in this formation. My first year, I was put in the back line and I wanted to cry. I was like, I didn't make the team already. I was like, they put me in the back line. They do not like me. And that did not matter. So if you end up in the back line, if you're in the front line, it does not matter where you're at. It does not mean you're going to make the team if you're in the front line, and it does not mean you're going to make the team if you're in the back line. I really don't know the reason behind it, but yeah, don't get in your head about it, because I did, and it didn't matter at the end of the day. After that, we will have one practice that's dedicated to learning our auditions routine. So the audition routine is super important. That is the final stage to finding out if you made the team. And it's super stressful in my opinion, because you want to make sure you know it perfectly. And yeah, you just want to make sure you know it really well. And we have one day that we are learning that routine. So that's the one day. Next day, or maybe the next day after that, is our dress rehearsal. And our dress rehearsal is a place for you to get comfortable with where we're performing. So we're not performing at the stadium. In my 3 years, it's always been at the Newport Syndicate, which is known for being a wedding venue. It's also an event venue. They have a lot of open space for seating, but the stage we perform on is kind of like a semicircle. My biggest fear is falling off the stage. It is kind of a smaller stage, but you'll be performing with yourself and one other person, groups of 2. Again, all of our auditions are in groups of 2. Our coaches could be watching at this point. They could be setting up the venue. There's a variation of different things that could be going on there, but you'll want to make sure you feel the most confident, because this is your one opportunity to perform on that stage before audition. So give it your all and feel the most confident, so you will feel the most confident at auditions. Everybody's doing the same dance at our final audition showcase. That is very different from the Bengals to other teams. Some teams, you're doing solos every round. Other teams, you are doing planned choreography that everybody's doing the same. So Bengals, every round, everybody's doing the same choreography. At our auditions, we have 2 8 counts at the end of our finals routine to showcase skills that we want to have our little solo part. So one contestant on stage will go first and do their 2 8 counts, and then they'll go to the back, and then the second contestant will do their 2 8 counts and have their moment to have a little solo part. So while we don't have a whole solo performance in routine, we do have a section where you can have a solo part and do skills that resonate with you. After each contestant has auditioned, we will then go up on stage individually and answer an interview question. Usually it's about our job or our education. Somewhere in that, we are focusing on our career path, our professionalism, and our education. And once we're all done with the day, we'll come out, we'll take a big group picture on the stage, and then you're dismissed from the audition process. There are a lot of little details about the process that I didn't talk about in this video, but I am such a detail-oriented person. I could make this video hours and hours long just talking about all of the details. If you ever have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm happy to address any more questions that you have and give you any more advice with the auditions process. I know there's not a lot of information out there on the internet, and this is just my hopes to educate you and give you some resources. I hope this video was helpful. Please like it if you found it to be helpful. I just started my YouTube channel, so I'm hoping to grow my subscribers and grow my reach. I would be happy to help you with any questions that you have.